Hey everyone, welcome. So today, let's talk about vision. And no, I don't just mean your eyesight. We're going to dive way deeper into this idea of vision as purpose, as direction, even as a form of divine communication. This whole explainer is based on a really powerful sermon that asks a pretty fundamental question. What happens when we just can't see the path ahead?
This one line right here, it sets the whole stage. It's describing this kind of spiritual famine, a time when guidance was super scarce and people were just lost, really, without a clear sense of direction. It really makes you stop and think, what happens to a person, or even a whole community, when the visions just stop?
Okay, so let's get into this. The source material really hammers home that this wasn't just some problem way back in the day. It actually points to a prophecy in the book of Amos about a future famine. And get this, not a famine for food or water, but a famine for hearing the words of the Lord.
And this connects to a feeling we've all had, right? That search for meaning, for some kind of sign that we're on the right track. When guidance feels far away, we start to wander. We search, we just hunger for some clarity. It's a totally universal human thing.
And that is the big question. If vision is so important, we really have to understand what it is. How does it even work? Are there rules? So let's shift gears from the problem of not having vision to the truth of what it actually is. Now this is where it gets really interesting. The way the source material breaks down the very fabric of these visions, it's fascinating. It argues that they aren't just random dreams or some fleeting thought. Nope. They have their own distinct characteristics, their own kind of profound structure. So the sermon lays out these 5 essential truths, and we're going to walk through them one by one. You can think of this as our roadmap for really getting how these guiding visions work, from their timing all the way to the real tangible impact they have on the world. First up is timing. A true vision isn't always about what's happening tomorrow or next week. Sometimes it can span generations. The prophet Daniel is the perfect example here. I mean, he was shown things that were going to happen way, way down the road.
This quote, wow, it just powerfully shows you the sheer weight of these things. Daniel saw this difficult, distant future, and the experience literally just wiped him out. It goes to show that getting a vision isn't some passive thing. It can be a really heavy burden to carry.
And that brings us right to our second truth. A vision isn't a movie you just sit back and watch. It's more like a puzzle that demands you figure it out. It's an active process of thinking and wrestling with it, not just a passive thing that happens to you. The Apostle Peter's story highlights this perfectly. After he saw this pretty confusing vision up on a rooftop, the text says he was left in great doubt, just wondering what on earth it could mean. It wasn't until he actively tried to understand it that its purpose finally clicked into place. So if these visions can be about a far-off future and can be really hard to understand, you might be asking, what's the point? Why are they even given at all? Well, the source explains they serve these very specific, absolutely crucial purposes in guiding not just our spirit, but our actions too. At their core, they are tools for empowerment. Whether it's giving you courage when you're scared, or creating what you could call a divine appointment between two people, or just flat out pointing the way you need to go, every vision has a practical, powerful job to do. I mean, just look at this contrast. It's the difference between being totally lost at sea and having a compass. Think about the Apostle Paul stuck in the middle of a shipwreck. He gets a vision telling him not to be afraid, and that one insight completely transformed his fear into the courage he needed to lead everyone to safety. It's incredible.
And sometimes, a vision is literally a set of directions. It's like a divine GPS. Paul had this vision of a man from Macedonia just begging him to come and help. That single vision changed his entire journey, sending him off to Europe. It was a complete course correction, straight from the source. Okay, so here's the crucial point where it all comes together. This isn't just a bunch of stories about ancient history or prophets in the desert. The main argument of the sermon is that this whole concept of vision is timeless. It's deeply relevant to how we live our lives right here, right now. And this is the ultimate takeaway. This verse from Proverbs isn't just some nice poetic saying. It's a stark warning. A lack of vision, a lack of purpose, of direction, it leads to decay. It shows you just how incredibly high the stakes are when we try to live without some kind of guiding principle.
And we need to be really clear about this distinction. The source makes the point that this isn't about superstition, it's not hypnosis, it's not about tricks of the mind. It's about a kind of open-eyed clarity, a genuine insight that just cuts through all the noise and shows you the truth. And that really leaves us with a final thought to chew on. The challenge isn't about closing our eyes and waiting for some mystical experience in the dark. It's about having the courage to truly open our eyes to our purpose, to the needs of the people around us, and to the path that's waiting right in front of us. So, what vision are you meant to see?